Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's live stream. Indeed, it's a beautiful day. It's Wednesday, the 16th of July, 2025, and we're back again. Welcome back from your holidays, and indeed, history has been made before our very eyes. We are seeing a lot is going on already, and what do we have? The first ever Nigerian bank to hit the 100 naira mark, GT Bank. Congratulations to GT Bank and every GT banker, including GT Bank shareholders. You have made history today, the 16th day of July 2025, when you first hit the 100 naira mark, and a positive note, rising by 539.95 points to close at 126.6 on Monday, July 14th. Now, this represents a 0.43% gain from the previous session's close of 126,000 points. Total volume came in at 1.29 million shares, down modestly from Friday's 1.39 million shares. Nevertheless, market capitalization surged to 80.14 trillion across 39,431 deals, officially breaking the 80 trillion naira threshold. Among the day's top performers on Monday were NSL Tech and Abbey Building Society, soaring about 10% and 9.99%. On the other hand, Tantalizers, QTix, RT Briscoe, and Cavat Holdings passed a resolution to raise $400 million through the establishment of a shelf program. Now, the amount is expected to be raised to boost the capital base of Sterling Bank PLC. Of course, details from the special resolutions indicated that the amount can also be raised in Naira. So we keep an eye on that particular stock. And then, of course, we also have Zenith Bank, now valued at 3 trillion Naira in the Nigerian stock market. The bank shares briefly reached a yearly peak of 72 Naira per share on the Nigerian exchange as at Monday, even though it closed at 71 Naira 50 kobo. But this morning, live before my very eyes, we are seeing Zenith now trading around 78 Naira 30 kobo per share, right? So great, keep your comments coming in. We shall be taking a look at what's going on, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, keep your comments coming in as I proceed to take your comments, your questions as well. Coach, what's happening to Academy? It's on full offer. As usual, when a stock jumps very fast the way Academy Press has done, what you see is profit takers selling to take profits to also reposition in other stocks that they feel is essential for them to take position in. And so it is not strange that people buy or bought Academy Press at around 5 Naira 10 kobo when it was mentioned here, saw it climb to 9 Naira, and now willing to sell. Perhaps some of them want to take position in banks like Zenith, since GT Bank has already crossed the 100 Naira mark. So Zenith and Stanbic IBTC are the next banks positioned to climb high, right? So that's about that. Keep your comments coming in right there on Facebook. I can see, on YouTube. Niger Uplift says, good day, coach. Thank you for your tip on how to know when to sell off a stock. Exited FTN Cocoa at 8 Naira 25 kobo on Monday with 250% in the bag. After listening to your tip, I monitored the volumes and exited. Interesting. And this is why I love this community, because we have very, very smart individuals ready to take on instructions and see results manifest for them. So take a look at this. FTN Cocoa has begun to retrace. There's a dip going on right now for that stock. We all know this will happen. It's now happening as it dips from 7 Naira 80 kobo that it closed on Monday to 7.14. Though there are still some bids, about 5 million bids, but the offers are more, 8 million offers. So that's a very fantastic performance there, Niger Uplift, and you are most congratulated for taking that very smart move. Listen to what he did. On Monday, he monitored the bid and offer, the volumes on offer, and so on and so forth. and then made up his mind to sell at 8 naira 25 kobo. He has bagged 250% profit, and indeed, after selling at 8 naira 25 kobo, FTN Cocoa is now at 7 naira 14 kobo. Fantastic. Now, like I said, a lot of stocks with very poor fundamentals will be jumping. You want to stay vigilant, and if you ever jumped into anyone and you are in any sort of profit, go ahead and make sure you are making good progress with your gains, and of course, proceed to more fundamentally sound stocks. For instance, if I were him, I would proceed to take some Zenith Bank shares, UBA shares, Fidelity Bank shares, because we know that 250% profit is going to get some very good protection in those stocks. That's the way to play the stock market. Always be sensitive and make sure you are not being sentimental in the market. Good day, coach. Can I buy more Zenith now? And that's coming from Michael AGK. Well, Michael, feel free to buy more Zenith, because this Zenith, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Seeing where GT Bank has run to, it can only be normal for it to pursue towards the 80 or 90 naira mark, especially when the second quarter results are released, and we will see exactly which are the most profitable banks. Andre Ryu says, I'm a new investor. I really don't know much on which stock I can invest now. Well, as a new investor, the best thing to do is to stay patient and just observe from the distance, but go for knowledge. Go on my YouTube channel, take on some of the beginner guide videos, while also trying to open your account with the broker of your choice. Coach, do you think Sterling Bank will come up with a public offer? Immaculate. I am thinking so, with their intention to raise about $400 million. Well, for me, I would rather put my money in the most viable and most trusted ones, while keeping an eye on any opportunities in other stocks, because I do not think amongst all the banks listed in the stock exchange that Sterling is the best. But in any case, if you are really interested and you see something more encouraging in terms of the current share price being very minimal, and you are looking at a long-term view, trusting the management to manage the resources very well to grow the bank and create value for shareholders, then of course you can proceed and follow your heart. But in this business, it's not a matter of heart, it's a matter of performance, because the market eventually will reward only those that performs. Smile for me says, I feel sad for not buying much more Zenith. Well, I kept ringing that bell. Can I tell you this? I've had Zenith for long. I bought in very low, but I eventually went ahead to buy even more Zenith this morning. I bought Zenith at 77 and 78, far much, more than double how much my current average entry price is. Why did I go ahead to buy more Zenith? That's because I know I may never be able to have the courage to buy it at 100 naira per share. So currently at 77 naira 95 kobo, which is fair enough, having risen from 71 naira 50 kobo that it closed on Monday. Rotimi Ajayi is asking, saying, what's Zenith's symbol on Atlas portfolio? It's Zenith Bank. And if you are on Atlas, you will not see it on equity. Go on to click on that market view dialog box, and you will see a drop-down menu, and go and click on premium. Click on premium. That's where you will find the likes of Access Bank, Dangote Cement, First Holdco, MTN, Seplat, UBA, WAPCO, and Zenith Bank. This is if you are using the same platform with us on Atlas Portfolios or Morgan Capital. Both use about very similar platforms for their activities. Okay? All right. So let's proceed on to more comments on Facebook. Good afternoon, Coach. On YouTube. You are God sent. Please, should I enter USCN with my full chest? Peter Wanchuku, I would like to see what USCN price is right now. before I proceed. But if you see USCN at 40, between 43 and 40, it's still a good price to get in. As long as you are getting in, my goodness, USCN jumps to 48 naira per share. Oh my God, nobody is relenting anymore in this market. I thought it's still around that 43 and 45 range. Well, I'm seeing it at 48, trying to refresh to see what the bid and offer status is so that we can proceed with advice. One thing I know about USCN is that it eventually allows you time to come back, because you get this fluctuation, some bit of volatility, much more than you have with the likes of Unilever and Cadbury. Though Cadbury also fluctuates, and then it fluctuates, of course, much more than than Unilever. Coach, good morning. Please, can we still buy Sterling Bank now? I do not know if Sterling Bank will be able to maintain their per share earnings going by the kind of dilution that they want to embark upon. You saw that information I just shared before when the live session started. They are about to raise $400 million, and it is to shore up their capital in pursuit of meeting up with CBN's regulation for banks recapitalization. The question is, what happens with their per share metrics? Or will they proceed and later do a share reconstruction or stock split or whatever? We do not know. In any case, for me, first of all, it's not every stock I will own, so I will pass that one. But if you feel the price is fair and you want to accumulate for a while, there is a chance that if most of the banks continue to rise, then the smaller ones will keep inching up as well. And so, on that note, you may want to consider a chance to keep going in for Sterling Bank if you like. All right? Can I see your comments coming in on Instagram? Looking for your comments on Instagram right now. Sir, is Fidelity and Access a good buy now? Right home managers. I can tell you for free, Fidelity, even without checking what the price is right now, is good for a long-term position. And then Access, the best time to buy Access would have been between 22 and 24, and it's been just a few days ago. Maybe as at last Friday, you could have still bought Access at around 22. Well, it's around 26 now. Not too bad to take long-term position as well. Definitely, the ripple effect of GT Bank's listing on the London Stock Exchange is rubbing off on all banks on the NGX. But you have to also be cautious with what bank you are buying, because not all banks will be able to sustain their performance in terms of their dividend payouts, especially those who pay interim dividends, having diluted their shares through the recapitalization exercise that just happened and is still ongoing to expire April 2026. The chicken is coming home to roost, and we will see after the first half result of 2025 is published, as we anticipate the second quarter results. When they are published, we can be able to compare their performances and make projections to know what the actual full year result will look like. Then we can be able to tell whether the dividend per share each of them paid, this time considering the extra shares that have been created through those public offers and rights issue, whether or not they can still continue to maintain such dividend payouts. But GT Bank has already vowed that they will do even much more, following the words of the Group MD of GT Bank on the London Stock Exchange, where he briefed operators after the listing that GT is looking forward to making sure they give out dividends yield of up to 15%. That's a whole lot. Do they have the financial muscle to do that going by their earnings? I can tell you, assuredly, they do. What other banks can do this? I can assure you also, Zenith can do this. Well, UBA can also try, but of course, they are not at the same level. In any case, we see how the competition rages. So that's my take on that. Now, over on YouTube again, Benga David says, I also asked the same question this morning, Mr. Emmanuel. Owando is not looking good at all. Okay, he's responding to Emmanuel Akoteyon. So please, what is happening to Owando? Well, Owando has not done really very well and satisfactorily, and so the market is not in a hurry to reward it. It's always been one news after the other that makes Owando rise, and though they are very good with their revenue generation, but it's always terrible at the bottom line stage, talking about profit after tax. That's where Owando has most of the challenges, because you realize that the cost of sales is just too much, eating too deep into the profit before tax. For example, Owando has generated about 4.1 trillion naira in revenues, trailing 12 months, okay? And their net income is 276 billion out of 4 trillion naira. What was left is 276 billion naira. Shares outstanding remains at 13 billion, and then earnings per share is 22 naira. PE ratio 2.34. Somehow, some way, going by these few numbers, Owando should be very attractive at this 52 naira price. But there are so many other stocks at this price performing much better than this. And of course, with the current bull run in the banking sector that is rubbing off on the entire exchange, you would agree with me that more people want to test the waters elsewhere to find quick profit from other stocks before coming back into Owando. And since there are no latest information on news that will prop up the price of Owando or whip up interest on that stock, what you have is the current apathy. In fact, some people must have been selling off some parts of their Owando to benefit from other stocks that are making moves. Because if your portfolio is heavily loaded with Owando, you want to shed a bit of that and, of course, diversify into other stocks that are looking like they are doing well. The one encouraging thing I'm seeing as far as technicals is concerned with Owando is that the RSI is around 43.92, right? So it means not much transactions in terms of trading has happened so much, and maybe, just maybe, after the bull run in the market, we could see an improvement in the attention Owando gets. So that's but the point is, you do not have to be impatient with these stocks. A lot of times they deal mercilessly with us when we try to be impatient. Okay, so you want to keep your cool and take it one step at a time, knowledgeably. All right, okay, sorry about that. I'm hearing that the volume is low on YouTube again. Hopefully it gets better now. All right, okay, let's keep going. Keep your comments coming in. I'm taking a look at this, coach. Is it because, okay, no, we can't talk this way on this live stream, Philip? That would not be acceptable. Please, sir, between Zenith and UBA, which should I buy? Depends on your capital and what you are looking at. Both of them pay interim dividends, that is, and final dividend twice a year. So that makes it look good. But Zenith pays more, and Zenith is, though Zenith paid about the same with UBA the last time, but Zenith has sufficient to match that of GTCO, and which I am very certain they will this time. So I would say either of them are good. UBA, can it catch up with Zenith in terms of price appreciation? If we were going by just dividend performance, Zenith should be better. But you never know. UBA the last year came up and paid double the interim dividend paid by GTCO and Zenith, only to slow down when it was time to pay the final dividend. And that's where GT Bank sped off ahead of the other two. So if you ask me, because your funds will gather more UBA than Zenith, I would say go on to buy UBA. But if the funds is a whole lot and you are looking for more security, then take position in Zenith. Now you see the wisdom in the group managing director of Zenith Bank's decision to buy 68 million shares of Zenith Bank. And I think she bought at around 45 naira or so. I remember that causing some level of uproar, and everybody was, a lot of people commenting on my social media platform when I posted about it. They were all talking about insider dealing without understanding the full meaning of what insider trading is. I beg your pardon. They all were claiming it's insider trading, it's illegal. Insider trading only happens when the party involved, who is an insider, either a director or a shareholder that is so close to the management with substantial quantity or influence in the bank, decides that he was going to or she was going to buy into that stock, and due to information only available to the individual. But in this case, this information was a public information available to everyone in the public. And so it cannot qualify as an insider trading. While they were making all of those noises, the woman was making money. So imagine a bank stock that she bought at 40-something naira per share. Before our very eyes, that stock is now trading for as much as 77 naira per share. So before you join the complainants, find a way to make sure that you are also a beneficiary of what they are complaining about. That's the way to continue to make progress, and not just to be on the criticizing side of things and not getting any reward for your stand. Okay. Keep your comments coming in and make sure you keep it civil, otherwise you get blocked. What is the best company to buy shares from now? Please, I need advice. Mr. P, there is no best company. They all have their purposes that they fulfill. All you need to do is what company best suits your plan or strategy. So what does that tell you? It means first, have a strategy, because this person who is going ahead to accumulate GT Co at over 100 naira, their plans are completely different from, or their expectations are completely different from yours. So you've got to ask yourself, what do I want from whatever I want to put in the market? Do I just want to trade a few months and then get the money out because I may need it elsewhere? Or do I want to be established in the market to build a portfolio of stocks that will eventually benefit me going forward? And if so, what type of stocks am I looking at? Am I going to be patient to accumulate value stocks that have not been recognized by the market yet, but eventually will, and then create much more longer term value? Or do I go for growth stocks that have already been established and are dividend paying stocks that can continue to earn me dividend income because I am about to retire and I'm looking forward to creating an income stream for myself without necessarily having to work again? Depending on your strategy, then you can decide what stock is good for you. And of course, you want to also consider your age at times, because age plays a major role. The vigor, the vitality, and the strength that you display when in your 20s and 30s can't be the same as when you are in your 40s and 50s. So you want to minimize risk. And of course, if you are older, of course, that's when you want to avoid a lot of risk, because you do not have the time to continue to run around in case you lose your capital. So safety becomes your priority if you are older. But if you are younger, because you want your money to grow as fast as it can, and you have time to recover just in case anything goes wrong, you want to take more risks. So this is why I tell people there is no best stock. What you have in the stock market when you come is the stock that best suits your strategy or your investment goal. And I'd like you to get that point very clear. That's about that. Okay? So make up your mind, keep watch listen to the comments and, of course, the analysis, and then you can indeed make up your mind to decide what is best for you. Those watching on YouTube, I'm not seeing your likes. Those on TikTok, your likes are fading away. Those on Instagram, I can't see your likes. If you don't like this live session, then you can't be a part of those who help other people to benefit from the information being shared here. I'd like to let you know that all screen actions, when you like, when you share the live session, you are also being a partner in helping to generate interest along all social media platforms. And of course, if you are also watching from Twitter, share this live session to as many and as often as you will and you can, so that more people get to join and be a part of this growing community of selfless investors who have found a way to make legitimate income through the capital markets and the money markets, and are not greedy to share that information to as many people looking for such opportunities like this. Can I tell you this? If you are into real estate, if you are into merchandise, you are selling one thing or the other, you are importing or exporting, whatever side hustle or business you do, or whatever employment you are engaged in, that will not create wealth for you. I can tell you that. So it's important that you look for residual income streams and begin to create wealth for yourself. That's because after now, in the end, you're going to leave that job, and retirement age is around 60, 65. When you retire at 65, for example, I need you to live long on the earth, right? And so you may hit 95 or 100 years old. So from 65, when you are not able to walk, how do you survive the remaining 30 years of your life or 40 years of your life? And that's a very long time not to have money. That's a very, very long journey if you stay broke. At that point, your children that you may be depending on may also be looking for how to survive on their own. And you don't need that. That's why we share this knowledge and information. Thank you very much. I'm seeing responses now on YouTube. The likes are flying around right now. And that way, I'm certain that more people will get to know. A lot of people have earned money. And that's why I laugh when people say Nigerians are lazy. Nigerians are one of the most industrious people in the world. I've worked in the oil industry. I've seen a whole lot of expatriates. But do you know what? If you count the Indians, the Filipinos, the Chinese, the next set of people you want to count are Nigerians. And I'm talking about internationally. Nigerians are expatriates in almost every field. You find them everywhere. So the problem has never been making money. Those of them who are in business are doing very well, and so on and so forth. Both formal businesses and informal business, and retaining wealth, building wealth, right? So we do not have a problem. And that's what the school teaches you to get a job. But nobody takes their time, no institution takes their time to put you through a system where you grow money and then build wealth. Now, you are now left alone to just keep earning over and over. And every time you earn and save, what happens? Inflation and devaluation comes up and sweeps everything. And that is where the wisdom of investing comes in. Because, listen, even if you have a job right now, not everybody is happy in the job that they are doing. So while you are in that job, this is one way you can keep growing your money so that sometime in your life you can retire. I'm retired as I speak to you. I retired very early, 5 years and still running. I don't have to go to work to make money. Why? The stock market made it happen for me. I've been in this stock market 27 years. We've seen all market crashes. Now, the reason why people run away from the stock market is because of the limited knowledge they have while they put in their money and got their fingers burnt. A lot of people lost money, but do you know what? As we speak right now, all those can change. And that's why this platform is there to help you to glean a little bit of knowledge that will sustain you through thick and thin. There is a way to behave or manage your portfolio in the bull market and in the bear market. A lot of people do not know. Now, there is so much interest again in the capital markets. A lot of gains are happening and people are jumping in. Who will come out and show them what to do? That's why we are here. So when you share these live sessions, then you are also helping to reach out to many others that this could help. Okay? You are absolutely right, Coach Ifeoma. Thank you very much. Motunra Yoremi message, which stock to buy now if I want to take profit on short-term basis? Now, this is where I also have a problem because nobody can predict the market. I do not come out here to beat my chest to tell you this stock will do this stock will do that within this time frame. It's difficult to call. I can easily tell you because GT Bank has risen to so and so, and then it was at 50 something, you go through my social media handles, you will see those videos. I can tell you Zenith can do this and do that, but nobody can ever predict the market. So it's better if this is your first time, you do not come in with a short-term mentality, because the stock market, I repeat, like I always do, is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But you know what? Before you know it, you have stayed 10 years in the market. And if you can stay patient with your investments, then of course you will see money, because in the end, every research done about the stock market internationally and even in Nigeria has pointed to the reality that it is long-term investors that make the most money. So there's no need being in so much of a hurry and running out of opportunities that could have enriched you greatly. Okay? Have a strategy, pick the stocks based on your appetite and strategy, and then watch your money grow over time. Keep doing it repeatedly, stay consistent, and that's it. That's how Warren Buffett became who he is. And that's why he said risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Better to invest in a business you understand and you don't have to own every stock in the market. I hope you get that point right now. Coach, can I sell my livestock and buy Zenith? Dauda Abba. If you feel you have made sufficient profit and you want more security, then you can go ahead and buy Zenith. I can assure you that there is security in Zenith for as many as are looking for preservation of capital. That is not to say there is no security in livestock, but you need some level of patience. I know some people are becoming weary about continually holding on to their livestock stocks, but guess what? That stock rose from 3 naira 70 kobo in November while we were here buying to about 10 naira before it retraced to, it dipped to 9. It has held on and created some very strong support at 9. Now let me explain. Don't be surprised if livestock begins to jump. Why? Because for a few months now, it has consolidated at 9. And that 9 is looking like it may not fall below it. It's a very simple and common sense reasoning. Everybody else who has been buying in the last previous months have been buying at an average of 9 naira or 9 naira plus. The worst dip it has dipped to is under 9 and quickly came back on top of 9. So every other person buying now, they are actually buying from those who bought in November at 3 naira 72 kobo. So when that happens, what you get is a fresh support level established fully, and from there on, any little good news or any further market bull run that the current market experiences, then it positions livestock as one of those who will make another run. Remember, it made a solo run, and so I am not surprised that it is not now running with others. Maybe it's waiting for others to cool off, and then it will embark on its solo run again. Why? Because most of those who bought under 9, especially the short-term traders, have now come to their patience wit's end or their elastic limit in their patience, and they've decided to take profits. And that's why it's so the new holders will make sure they hold on and watch it rise much higher before they can sell. Simple arithmetic, but explained in technical charts for those who are into technicalities. Anthony Soji says, dear coach, what is the problem with corn oil? It looks as if corn oil is on full sell bid and no buy orders. Actually, corn oil didn't perform well in their recently released financial reports, and so the market is dealing with it right now. That's basically what is happening with corn oil. And so many others who are disappointed with their performance, who own the stocks, are in a hurry now to sell, and suddenly there are no buyers to take up those offers. That's why you have it on full offer at the moment. Coach, for 1 million each, which two stock can I buy for long term? Well, if you like, take security in Fidelity Bank and then maybe go in with TIP as well. As long as you find TIP under 10 Naira, that's good. For a company portfolio that has Wema Bank, would you advise jumping on UBA or Zenith 200,000? Basirat, when you say company portfolio, I want to guess you are talking about being in charge of the investment decisions for the company. And if that is the case, nothing wrong with having Wema Bank, but always UBA and Zenith, fantastic options to go for, because you get to get regular cash flow through the dividend payment that is twice a year and the assured continuous growth. Let me tell you this, GT Bank has opened up the Nigerian banking space to the international world. And so any other bank might take the same route again and establish or go for dual listing. I can tell you that already rumors are emerging that UBA may proceed for dual listing. We watch to see how that pans out with time. Hi coach, what is really driving Wema Bank and at what price do you think one should sell? Well, I do not make sell calls also. That's because I don't know when you bought. I can't start telling somebody who bought Wema Bank most recently at 16 that they should sell when it gets to 17. Neither can I tell those who I kept telling here, buy Wema at 9 Naira. Wema was selling at 9 Naira before our very eyes. And it's almost 100% already, because at 16, that's a very good jump between November and now. Even up till around February, we still saw Wema selling at 11 Naira per share. Then it got to 14 before our very eyes. So how do I advise somebody to sell? And this is why you need to understand who is talking to you. And that's where also sometimes these recommendations from houses can also be confusing. You need to be sure from what perspective they are making their recommendations. Okay? So it all depends on you, and that's why we are a do-it-yourself community. We are not like every other community that basically people know to give buy and sell signals. We can say this is good enough to buy, but to tell you when to sell, we can't. And that's why it's a do-it-yourself club. So you are the CEO of your portfolio. You take a look at your portfolio, you are looking at very good gains, just like the comment on YouTube where he said, FTN Coco, he took the advice that it's time to start jumping out of some of those stocks that do not have very sound fundamentals. And he sold at a very good price, over 8 Naira per share, bagging 250%. I didn't know that he has made 250%. He knows because he manages his portfolio. And that's a very handsome reward for a stock that you know it's not a long-term play you are positioning for. Then you now proceed with what you have made into the very long-term stocks and secure the capital while also enjoying the benefits of dividend and capital gains. All right? Please, what do you think about investing in Fidelity Bank and the Initiate? Oyilola Olamide, I just mentioned those two stocks as a good place to take position for the long term. So if that is what you think, go ahead. But ladies and gentlemen, please be informed that all of the views expressed in this live stream, they are my personal opinion and not an investment advice, okay? So I'll advise that you do your due diligence and make up your mind on what to do. Thank you very much for everybody who is liking and sharing this live session. I'm seeing a lot of likes popping up on YouTube, Instagram. Do not sleep over this. TikTok, do not forget the assignment. Keep liking, keep giving gifts, and of course, keep sharing the live stream. Coach, what do you think about Charms and RT Briscoe? Lexus. I went into RT Briscoe and I'm waiting for it to come down to my enterprise, so maybe I can top up a little more. I'm playing the waiting game with RT Briscoe because something tells me that the CNG project of the federal government will soon rub off on the company. And the finances are not bad. There may be one or two debts here and there, which every company eventually gets involved in. Just a few companies are not in debt. As long as you are using the debt to grow the business, then it's not a wrong debt to have. It is when you can't keep up with your debt obligations, that's where there is a problem. So we go on to price movements for most of these stocks that we are monitoring. Access Corporation from 24 naira 90 kobo on Monday to 26 naira 20 kobo today. First Holdco 29 naira 30 kobo, it closed on Monday. It's now 30 naira per share. MTN briefly touched the over 400 naira mark, then got pushed back. You remember what I explained to you about trying to hit a new ceiling, and closed at 395 on Monday. Today, it's 399.9. So it's going to retest that 400 naira mark per share. This was MTN that was selling at 170 naira per share as at November. And I stated it clearly here. I have a lot of witnesses. I told them, I said, the worst days of MTN are finally over. They went through a lot of crisis. Now, looking at the current numbers in MTN's report, it does not justify the 400 naira per share price. But guess what? A lot of undercurrent activities may be happening, which could be the major influence behind the movement of MTN that we see today. I hear that the majority shareholder, which is a South African establishment, is looking at divesting some volume, and who knows? The current price movement may not be unconnected with that news or that rumor. Okay? Yes, you said it, Coach, that the bad days is over for MTN. Thank you very much. I see you there. Max, you are my witness. So you see, we do not make up stories here. And sometimes, and that's why I say the stock market is influenced by so many things, even beyond the financial reports. So if you stick to only financial reports to make your decisions, fine, no problems. As long as it rewards you and you are safely making your progress without fear, no problem. But some people might be more risk averse, or they might have some more risk tolerance to act on certain things that perhaps may also be influential to the well-being of a particular stock in the market before it enters the market, all right, on the prints. So you may see a stock doing badly in their previous reports, but a whole lot of development has come up. That was what happened with Vitafoam. They did very badly in the previous year, but things began to turn around towards the end of 2024. And that's where we started buying Vitafoam at 23, 25 naira. What did we have? Eventually, Vitafoam rocketed to 77 naira as we speak. It even touched 80 naira sometime last week before retracing down to 77 today. So a lot can influence the price of a stock in the market. You just want to stay alert, be guided, and then take advantage of opportunities as they emerge. Okay? We are approaching the 1 o'clock mark when calls will be entertained. But before then, let's see more of your comments on YouTube. Okay, I'm still getting reports that YouTube volume is low. I don't know what else to do about this. The volume is supposed to be much better now. I hope it is. All right, so maybe I should reposition the microphone, but I hope it improves now. Please, Coach, what do you think about buying Cornhall PLC for long term? Well, Cornhall was a stock I kept talking about when I kept recommending buy under 3 naira, and it stayed a long time under 3 naira. Every time it touches 3, it goes down under. At the moment, it's at 3 naira 50 kobo. A lot of sale has happened because of profit taking. You know, a lot of people bought at 2 naira 80 kobo, 2 naira 90 kobo, and they saw this stock fly to 3 naira 75 kobo up till Monday. What do you have? Well, 3 naira 50 kobo at the moment. So profit takers have taken some profits. You may want to wait to see how low it retraces. I'm sure it will retrace close to the 3 naira again, maybe 310, 320 for another round of upward movement. But it's a good, but you have to be patient with that stock because the insurance sector is not a very attractive one. There has been a little bit of revival though, and we hope that that continues for the longest of time possible. All right? Okay. So we go ahead with your comments on TikTok. Is it best to buy at the market price or to bid at limit order? Elroy. Now, that's a good question, and it will help a lot of beginners on these platforms. If a stock is in very high demand, it's important for you to go in at market order, because market order means you are buying at the very price that any of that stock is found in the market. All right? So you go ahead and buy that stock right away. Otherwise, you proceed to buying that stock at limit order when you know it's not in high demand, and maybe you have the patience to wait to buy it at your price. Then you go ahead and fix a price that you are more comfortable with. All right? So if you fix a limit order for any stock that is in high demand, you will never find that stock to buy over and over again. But if you set it at the market order, then the system buys whatever is made available at any point in time. Okay. Rachel says, Coach, just joining after a hectic week only to find out that FTN Cocoa is short-term. Okay. It all depends. If you got news that something much more permanent is going to happen with FTN Cocoa in the long term, then you put in your long-term bid and take position there. But if you bought for long-term purpose, you have to be sure how long-term is your long-term, because results will soon be coming out, and you don't want to be at the receiving end when the market begins to deal with any stock that has not performed very well. Can I buy GTCO now at the current rate? Chikara Ike, well. GT Bank touched 103. Let's see how much it is right now, because I saw a little bit of retracement to 102. That's what I see at the moment. GT Bank 102 naira 85 kobo per share. It depends on what you are comfortable with, but it's just so sad that interest in GT Bank is still arising from now, when I saw this same GT Bank drop as low as 45 naira per share. Not long ago, not too long ago, this stock was selling very, very low, if you like. But what do we have? We are in a situation where suddenly everything turns around and the stock is now in very, very high demand. And nobody saw that listing on the London Stock Exchange coming, and that's what has led to all of these situations. In any case, we continue to trust that there could be a chance for the stock to continue upwards. Otherwise, it may not be wise to go ahead and buy GT Bank. It's harder for me to recommend GT Bank at whatever price we see it right now, because it was as cheap as 25 naira not too long ago. I'm talking about during around 2024, 2024 or 2023. I think GT Bank was selling for around 25, 30 naira per share. Now to see it at 100 and still recommend it, you understand how difficult of a thing it is, especially when we're looking at value for capital gains that you stand to benefit from. All right. Please, what do you think about Fidelity Bank and the initiates? I've said enough about that. Maybe you want to go back to the video on YouTube after today's live session to have a recap. Please, if you are joining us for the first time, be informed that my YouTube channel has all the live sessions from beginning to end. So after the live sessions, you can always go back, especially for those of us in the US and Canada whose time difference is very much apart from Nigeria, and so may not be able to connect real time. You can go ahead and replay those videos for your listening pleasure. And of course, at that point, you can settle down and take notes as much as possible. Even Ella Lakes disappointed me today, Coach. You do not have a username. You are issued a number that you have not changed to a username. So I can't call you a name. But why do you say Ella Lakes disappointed you? What was your expectation from Ella Lakes, if I may ask? What about selling, Coach? Market price or limit? chomilicious. It's about the same thing. If you want to sell a stock and you are in a hurry to sell, please go ahead and sell at market price. But that's market order. But if you have to sell a stock and the stock is not in demand, then you want to, if it's not in demand, market order. But if it's in high demand, then you want to you want to place a higher offer because you are sure that the stock will be sold, right? Then you go for limit price. Your aim for limit price when you are selling is to get a better bargain, a higher price. So you want to insist that you are selling at 79 and not 65, okay? But if you are selling and there is not more demand for that stock, you just want to sell off at whatever price, then you want to leave it for the market to decide, and that's what market order is. So there are two different, or will I say, two diverse or opposite feelings. When you want to buy, you are in a hurry to buy when it is scarce. But if you are selling and the stock you want to sell is scarce, you are not in a hurry because you have a lot of buyers waiting to buy at whatever price. All right, so you need to know the difference and make up your mind on what to do. It's really a very interesting proposition and activity to be involved in. Okay, all right, so that's about that. What about, good afternoon, Coach. Do you think CWG might still rise? Or is it a good time to take profit and go into First Holdco or TIP? Well. You see that CWG? It's not done yet. If you ask me, I can tell you that for free. CWG is not done yet. It's only, and I can see that it uncharacteristically has refused to dip anything below 16 for a long time now. CWG has simply refused to dip below 16. On a normal day, that stock will drop below 16 without any apology, right? So you want to make up your mind on what to do with CWG. If you are staying for long term, stay the long haul and enjoy all the benefits. Stephanie Ebohon says, is Okomu oil a good buy? Well, Steph, Okomu is actually a good buy, and as long as Presco continues to do well, the next stop for Presco should be 1,500. But it will take some time for it to consolidate at 1,002 before getting that high. In any case, it's happening almost already. We want to see if there are other corporate actions they want to announce. Could there be a bonus? Could there be a rights? Could there be any need for even growing the capital? Whatever it is, Presco is a fantastic company, and as they continue to print out fantastic numbers, the stock price will keep going. As a matter of fact, is a sympathy play to Presco. Just let Presco perform and keep rising, Okomu will follow. That's what we've been seeing all along. And so many people caught up with Okomu when they couldn't catch up with Presco. Presco got to about 800, Okomu was still around 400 and something. So what did people do? They went in to buy at 400 and something and 500. Now we see Okomu is at 800 because Presco continues to get out of reach. Coach, please, how do we know when to sell off a stock? Mfon Ekipa. Mfon, all you need to do is check what the returns are. But it's not every stock you should keep selling from your portfolio if you are a dividend investor. So you need to be sure exactly what you want to do and stick to it. If you are investing for the long term, there are stocks you do not necessarily have to sell, because when you sell, it will be difficult to get back in. And if those stocks were giving you dividend over and over, the question is, how do you get back in to continue to collect that dividend? Because when you are used to collecting dividend twice or 4 times a month, for some stocks paying 4 times, then it becomes a very difficult thing to do without those dividends per time, right? Okay, so you decide. But if you bought a stock for short term, then you go ahead and sell when you see a reasonable profit margin of, say, 60%, 50%, even 40%, depending on how patient you want to be with that stock. And then you proceed to some others. Some people entirely have their involvement in the stock market is all about trading. So 100% of their portfolio is trading, one stock after the other and so on. But you know what? That's not the best strategy. Unless the money you are putting into it is not so, will I say, it's not so urgently needed, then you can proceed to invest long term. All right? Please, volume is low on YouTube, okay? I think that has been dealt with. Hi, coach. Is First Holdco at 30 a good buy? Well, not Creations. I should think First Holdco is a reasonable buy even at 30, considering what should happen. In fact, if First Holdco had been allowed to move all along, then we should be talking about 35 by now. So between 26 or 25 and 30, it's still a reasonable long-term position to take in First Holdco. Kayode Agbola says, Coach, please, is Jai's Bank a good buy today? Well, Jai's, you want to wait for a little bit more pullbacks to see how close it gets to 3 Naira. Currently, I think at 3 Naira 50 kobo or so, from 375, it closed on Monday. We watch to see whether or not it retraces further. But anything close to 310, 320, and maybe 330, that will be a good entry. But take note, it's a long-term position. You have seen the full year report recently published. The bank is doing well. I remember somebody was asking, how can a non-interest bank become profitable? Well, the numbers are there, nothing else to explain. What price should I go into QTix today, Coach? Well, for QTix, we've seen a little bit of profit taking as well after it jumped. It's currently at 4 Naira 10 kobo per share. We wait to see how it does going forward. But QTix has really impressed in its price movement, and a lot of us have benefited from this stock. I remember talking about QTix at under 2 Naira, then it got to 245, then it stayed there 250, 270, and then before we knew it, boom, to 3. Didn't stay too long, and then it got to 4 Naira per share. So let's see what happens with QTix. At the moment, current status is what I'm trying to check up so I can give you real-time feedback. Yes, on Monday, it closed at 4 Naira 14 kobo. The retracement continues till today, though just 4 kobo off. Currently 4 Naira 10 kobo. There are 6.3 million bids versus 7 million offers. Okay? All right. Now we have hit the 1 hour mark. If you are not following me, you are losing money. You can hear from so many others who have seen their finances rise. And I can tell you, I am in your life to help you break that ceiling that has always ensured that you do not hit 1 million naira in your portfolio of investments, or you do not hit that point. Talking about 10 million. A lot of people struggle and struggle. They can't stay on 10 million. But guess what? As you keep following and keep being a part of this community and taking steps and actions, you definitely are going to hit that 10 million and above. Some of you, you want to hit 100 million in your portfolio valuation currently, but it's always been a difficulty in the past. This time, you will hit and surpass that 100 million naira mark. Some of you, it's 500 million. Some, you are doing 700, 800 million, but you just can't seem to finally touch a billion in your total valuation in your portfolio. That's what I'm here to do, to give you that push to hit that ceiling, break it, and keep going. So a lot is going to change as you start investing. Whether it is for 500,000 you want to hit, that's how to set the target. In those days when I started 27 years ago, there was no internet, there was no phone, there was nothing to assist you electronically. So you know what I do? Every day I created a table using a pencil to work out an Excel format of the list of stocks I have, the current price on a daily basis. I put in the price and I see what the total is using a manual calculator. And all along on a daily basis, I see how my stocks are doing. But guess what? It's always a day behind because you can't see today's price today. So today's price will be coming out in tomorrow's newspaper. So today's valuation is what I was yesterday. That's how we're doing it until we got to this stage. You're wondering whether can you start? Well, you do not have to have a degree in accounting. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a banker. I'm a banking and finance graduate, even though I was a banker. But you know what? You have determination to grow your money legitimately. That's it. The rest, knowledge is available here, what to do, where to start, and so on. All you need to do, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM to send you the link to open your brokerage account or to join our Net Worth Investors Club, because 2 hours is not also enough on a daily basis. You want to be in a community where you hear what is going on, market analysis going on. And that's where we are on Discord group. There are about over 2,500 members in that group as I speak to you right now. Nigerians in Nigeria and Nigerians abroad. We are all there on a daily basis, exchanging ideas, reviewing, asking questions, responding, and making the most informed investment decisions. So if you want to be a part of it, why not? Just send me a DM and I will send you the link to join Net Worth Investors Club. And let me warn also, it's an investors club, not an investment club. So it's not a company that is asking for you to bring money. So nobody should ask for you to bring money for them to invest on your behalf. No, the structure is a do-it-yourself club. You ask questions in the open there, in the group, they respond to you openly. You go on to open your brokerage account, fund it, ask every question that needs to be asked, know how to invest, and proceed with your first ever investment if you like. But most importantly, everything you do is for yourself, so that when it's time for dividend payment, the dividend drops in your account. When your capital gains appreciate and you sell your stock, the proceeds drops in your bank account. Please do not, I repeat, do not follow anyone who comes to talk to you about investing in any other thing in the guise of being me, because there are accounts that have been created cloning using my DP. And so please do not be deceived by anybody. If you didn't send me a DM first, then any other person masquerading as me in your DM is a thief. That person is a fraudster. Run. When you see that person, block. When you see that person, report. Okay? They've created all kinds of culture methods, spelling all kinds of way just to make it look like me with my picture, and then they come to you and start asking you about how you are doing. I have too many DMs that I have not even been able to meet up to respond to. So how can I now just come into your DM and start asking you how your investment is doing? Please, that's a red flag. And that's why I don't follow people who follow me. The reason is so that you don't confuse the thieves that goes about with my DP to be me. So if you are the first to open a discussion through a DM to me, you are sure you are dealing with the right person. But anybody else who comes into your DM in the guise of being me is a thief. Run. And I'm talking about on all platforms. Please, let's stay smart and just use our initiative to be able to stay safe. GT Bank has dropped to 99 naira 45. And this is sometimes why I don't like chasing stocks. I teach you not to chase after stocks. Please do not run after stocks. No matter the hype, stay patient and wait for a little pullback, especially for stocks that have been jumping over and over. Just give it time and maybe, just maybe, you'll get good bargains. So if you are not following me, you are losing money. Now we go on to the calls because it's time to take calls. And the first caller we have today is Temi Tokwe. Let's hear from Temi Tokwe as the call is being connected right now. Petizi says, I deposited 800K since on Monday and I haven't received the funds on my Atlas account. We always advise that you use your name for as your transaction narration, so it helps a lot. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
This is Temi from the State, sir.
Temi from Ekiti State, we're glad to hear you. I think this is one of the fewest calling locations. So good to have you, Temi. Go ahead.
Thanks for all you have been doing, sir. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Please, sir, I have two questions this morning.
Okay.
I noticed I checked my portfolio last night, and then I rechecked it this morning around after 9, and I noticed a reduction of 3,000 gross.
Your portfolio. What do you mean portfolio? Is it your cash balance?
Hello, sir.
Is it your cash balance? You
I
are.
checked my account this morning. Yes, sir, my cash balance, sir.
Who is your stockbroker? Who is your stockbroker? Tell me. Please, can you explain where you saw those differences? I need to understand what you are talking about. Cash balance.
Yes, the cash balance, sir. The first display, the overall cash inside the overall on my phone.
Okay.
Notice to that.
Okay, let me call on Atlas to respond to you. While that call is connecting, we want to maximize the use of our time. So Atlas is coming on board. Just hang on there. I'll call on the next caller to come in while we await Atlas's response. And the next caller is Martin. Hello, Atlas. Good afternoon. Okay, could you please respond to Temi?
I think it's preferable sent a mail so that can be resolved here.
Exactly. All right, Temi, please go ahead, send Atlas a mail so they can look into it from their end. It's good a thing. Okay, go ahead. Well, go ahead, also send Atlas a mail that you want direct cash. You want a cash account. Your account to be adjusted to cash account. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Just do that mail to them. They will correct, they will change it. It's set at a cash account by default, so that you don't have to wait 4 days. Once you sell, the money is there, you trade again. All right? Thank you very much. Hello, Martin. Your environment is noisy. We can't take that. I'm sorry about that. Jason Momoa, you are next. Please remember to always mute when it's not your turn to talk. Well, thank you very much. Hey, it's Kaka. Good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from. Thank you, Jason from Asaba. Go ahead.
Coach, I want to ask, is this the right time for me to just cancel my Presto and buy Zenith shares?
I think it is. It is, without delay. You need your money to keep working for you, and if you're not able to get Presco for now, why not? Maybe you can revisit Presco some other time. Yes?
Okay, so I should just cancel it because I have like 80-something stocks in Presco. I don't know if I should just cancel everything and just buy Zenith.
Do as occasion pleases.
Sir?
Do as occasion pleases you. Go ahead.
Okay, he bought 143,000 stocks on Zenith Bank. He went to
Definitely, he can go ahead and start buying those stocks with any broker of his choice. Then he should tell them to dematerialize the public offer stocks that he bought from the bank. Do you understand? That way, those ones he bought from the bank will now appear in his stock brokerage account as well. All right. Thank you very much, Justin. Don Stanley, you are next. Let's see how we can deal with most of the calls, so we can also go ahead to talk. Good afternoon. Go ahead. Your name and where you're streaming from.
My name is Stanley. I'm streaming from Lagos.
Stanley from Lagos, it's good to have you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, I want to ask, where can I buy this GTH code? GT stock market that was recently traded on London Stock Exchange.
Very unfortunately, I hear that ticker symbol has not been found on Trading 212, which has London stocks listed on it. The one on eToro is the Global Depository Receipts. It's not the one listed. It was the one that was existing before that is not direct shares. And for now, no fintech in Nigeria that trades foreign stocks have listed it on their board. So it's quite difficult getting it.
Okay. I also have another question. Thank you for that. I also have another question. I've been waiting for charms to. I've been trying to buy more charms, but unfortunately, that's been going up, and I don't know if I should still go ahead to buy it or I should just hold on till maybe when it comes down.
Well, Chams has actually stayed down for longer than necessary. In any case, it depends on what price you are aiming to get in. Now, we're seeing a lot of offers on Chams at 9.9 bids, offers versus 2.8 million bids. And the price has just dropped below 3 for the first time in several days. 2.99 naira kobo is the price we are seeing Chams at the moment. So it depends on what price you were targeting to buy. Maybe some profit takers just sold down and are selling down. We don't know how long that will last. It's not public, it's rights issue. Rights issue. Of course it is. They are just waiting for approval by the Securities and Exchange Commission to proceed with that offer.
My last question. I remember during the Israeli war against Iran, I bought this foreign stock that I bought into. Unfortunately, I bought that stock at $4.90, I think 95 kobo. $4.95. And I'm hoping that maybe I can do some scrapping trades, just take profit and pick up. But the plan did not go that way. I've been running on loss ever since then. I don't know, is there still hope for me to just leave the stock for it to come back to the profit level, or I should just, because I've been running about $2,000 lost, and it's not funny anymore. Just dipping, just going down.
Basically, what will encourage, goodness gracious, UBA is jumping to 48 and 49 naira before our eyes. Okay, sorry about that. It even sold at 49. All right, so basically, that war was interrupted beyond everybody's expectation, and suddenly we hear about peace talks. That singular move destroyed everything about further gains for those oil stocks. Now, I am wondering, $2,000 is a lot. It could have been easier to average down if it was not that much, and then wait for something to come up, because that whole incident is not over yet. So now you are between deciding to just leave it alone and watch what develops going forward, or should anything happen to cause scarcity of oil, because sometimes OPEC can decide they want to cut production, and then before you know it, oil prices jumps again. So it's between deciding to just leave it there and wait till one development or the other comes up in the oil sector that affects it positively before you take off, or averaging down, or just exiting with that loss. For me, that loss is a lot, and it will be better to just keep watch and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you average down to an extent, and then you minimize the loss that way before you sell. Exactly. So just stay on and let's see how things develop in that sector. The oil sector is affected by so many things, and anything can just happen. For instance, Saudi can decide, or Iran can decide to cut off supply or limit production or reduce production. Once any of those major oil companies do that, the stocks respond. So, and then the market is full of uncertainties. The other thing is, what if as you come out, if you sell, then things just change and turn around again before our very eyes, and then that now becomes more painful. So sometimes we are in this market to be able to develop capacity to withstand some losses and still watch them come back into profit. You know, you become a better person in the market if you can manage situations like this over time. Then you won't always run at every loss you see.
Okay, I think one of these I'll just wait. Thank you very much, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Stanley. So, ladies and gentlemen, while Stanley was talking, there's a whole lot of activity now going on in UBA. As we speak, 72 million shares of UBA has been traded. 3.3 billion naira is the value. UBA closed at 46 yesterday, on Monday. Today, it's risen to 47. I actually saw trades going on even at 49. Before the call was over, it has come back to 47. So it's currently 47 naira 75 kobo. On the spot trading activities is what I'm relaying. And of course, who else is making things happen here? WAPCO, 108 naira per share from 106 that it closed on Monday. Currently, 1.5 billion naira worth of WAPCO traded. And who else is doing the billions? Access Bank, from 24 naira 90 kobo, it closed on Monday. Currently, 26 naira 30 kobo. 2.9 billion naira worth of transactions done on Access Bank. Okay? When First Bank picks up, I will know, because it will then also start running in billions. For now, 646 million naira worth of First Bank traded. Petizi, you are the next caller. And somebody just asked about Access Bank, UBA, most recently. Hello. Very good afternoon to you. Please tell us your name and where you're streaming from. What's your name, sir?
My name is Alif. I'm calling from Ogun State.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say thank you for all you have been doing here. I'm very benefiting from you.
Thank you.
Just a few days ago, I registered on Atlas. You sent me the link.
Okay.
I tried to deposit. Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
So I deposited from my Zenith Bank to the account they gave me after the registration. I made a first deposit of 800,000 naira.
Okay, Atlas, how do you advise that he goes about this, please?
Alright, apologies for the delay in crediting your account. Like you said, I think I've been telling some customers, Zenith Bank and some other banks don't reflect names of customers properly. They could either pick one of their names, reflect, or just reference number all through. And the case is, they might not be able to send all customers' receipts to account department always. But now you raised your company, we can send a reminder now. Let me pick up the receipts so that they can verify with what they have from their hand. And it happens mostly with Zenith Bank. Zenith has the majority issue where your name don't reflect or one of your name. And we have clients that can bear two names. Two, three files can bear that same name at the same time. So it happens like that. So just send me a reminder either via mail or WhatsApp. Let me pick it up with your account department so that we can work on it.
So, please, how can I get your WhatsApp contact? Hello?
Look on the comment section. They will drop the WhatsApp number. Atlas, please drop the WhatsApp number there.
Number so that you can reach us. Apologies for this once again, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, next on the line is Smile for Me. So the WhatsApp number has been shared already on the comment section on TikTok. Go ahead. Your name and where you're streaming from.
Hello, thank you very much. My name is Smith. I'm calling from Australia.
Smith.
I just want to thank you for the thing you're doing for the community and everyone. I had a few questions. What do you consider a good dividend payout? I was looking at the correlation between the stock price and maybe 10% of the stock price. You know, if it's paid out as dividend in a financial year, that's a good stock, or that's a good year. I don't know if you agree with that. You know, if what do you consider a very good dividend payout? You know, for a company.
Okay, very good question there. The point is, depending on what price you bought a stock, that will determine what the dividend yield over time is. And dividend yield, which you are speaking about now, is a function of stock price and dividend payment. Most companies try to improve their dividend payout every year, no matter how small the increment is, while the stock price also changes over time. So if at the point of buying a stock, compared to the last dividend payout, you see 10%, that's fair. Some dividend yields could be 15%, and then should you find anything higher from that point, that's a big bargain, especially if those stocks are, those companies are consistent with such dividend payments. So you want to check through the dividend history to be sure it's not a flash in the pan, because sometimes some companies can record extraordinary income and distribute it in the form of dividends. In that case, that's not a consistent measure of what dividend they can usually pay as often as they normally do. Okay? Then there are various reasons why we ask people to invest long term. And one of the reasons is you get to start earning dividend to the point where a stock you bought for 2 naira per share is paying you dividend of 5 naira per share every year. That is to say, more than double the cash you spent buying that stock is what you start receiving every blessed year, as long as you continue to hold on to such stocks. What stock is that? I'm talking about, for instance, those who bought NACO in 2020. During COVID, that industry was buffeted, and there was nobody flying, social distancing issues, so the entire airline industry came to a halt. As it grinded to a halt, that's how the stock price also collapsed, even though stock prices were collapsing across board, across all sectors. But you see, that stock, for anybody who bought at 2 naira, the dividend they paid last was 5 naira 93 kobo or something like that. So In 1 year, you have received more than, in fact, you have received 250% of what you spent buying it. Now that gives you a 250% dividend yield. It's crazy, isn't it? That's where real wealth is. That's why I wonder what people do when they jump from one stock to the other after little gains. Unless you are not too sure, I've said it before, unless you are not too sure of the fundamentals of that company, then you want to take your gains at whatever level and move on. But the whole idea is, this NACO I'm talking about didn't start paying 5 naira from the beginning. As at that time, what they were paying was, I think, 45 kobo. I remember the 45 kobo era. We're talking about a space of 5 years here. 45 kobo at some point, and then they went ahead to start paying about 75 kobo, and then they went to 1 naira, and then 1 naira 50 kobo, and before we know it, they came back last year and said, look, we're going to be paying dividend twice. So there is now interim and final. Is that for what? No, it's not for NACO, that's UCAP. Okay? So NACO continues to pay dividend once, but the long and short of it is that the dividend yield grows over time if you hold on to the stock you bought at the price you held. Now, NACO is 90 something naira, 90 something naira per share, something you bought 2 naira. So you are gaining massively in both dividend and capital gains. That is not the kind of stock you want to sell now. That's what I tell people. So if you see from 15, it may not just be 15 now. Over the years, depending on how high the price runs from where you bought it, you will find that dividend is increasing. And so you are in a better position for higher dividend yield annually. Right? So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Coach, one last question. I think for someone that wants to aggressively grow his net worth through the stock market, you want to take a little bit more risk. Do you recommend value or growth stocks? How do you balance it? You speak about these stocks every once in a while. Some are growth, some are value. How do you balance it so that you can actively grow the funds that you have towards the time of, say, 20, 25 years?
Value stocks grows your portfolio, usually are meant to grow your portfolio faster, and therefore, if you want to be very aggressive, you want to tilt your portfolio in the region of 60 value, 40 growth. But there is also some level of risks involved in pursuing value stocks because they tend to suffer more during market fluctuations. And then, of course, that time frame you are given, 2025, that's a long time when all sorts of fluctuations can happen. Okay? So if you want to be so much aggressive, then value stocks will grow it faster. But it comes with some bit of risks involved. And sometimes the value you see in value stocks may not be accruable at the time frame you are expecting that value to come. So the chances for value stocks to really attain whatever valuation you are giving them in the future are also not very perfectly attainable. There could be some that fails along the line to achieve that aim. And then if you want to be more safe, so if you want to be less aggressive, then you structure your portfolio to have, say, 70% growth, 30% value. Now, a lot of times growth comes to surprise us, doubling the money that you invested as well. And then, of course, they serve as defensive stocks in times of market fluctuation because you will see sell-off. Just like every stock is rising now, we will get to that point. We've seen it here several times, both for international market and the local market. It will come again. How you manage it depends on how you have also structured your portfolio in terms of value stroke versus growth. So it's up to you to decide how to position it based on your aggressive nature.
Understood. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give us your educational guest for today.
Well, the question you have asked, I almost said it before I started explaining regarding dividend yield. The question you have asked already solves it. A lot of people still do not understand what dividend yield is and what to expect. You now understand that dividend yield is the percentage returns you get from the investment capital you put into a stock that pays dividend. That means to say there are also stocks that do not pay dividends, so you want to be careful where you are putting the money in, right? So, and then all of these things have just spoken what is the practical reality. If you buy a stock 5 naira per share and that stock pays dividend of 2 naira per share, for instance, it's always very unlikely that a 5 naira stock is paying 2 naira per share though, but for academic purpose or theoretical reasons, I want to use it this way. So 2 naira per share is the dividend yield, therefore, for such a situation. Okay, let's say you buy a stock 10 naira per share, the company makes so much money that they are recording, let's say, 2 naira 50 kobo earnings per share, and they decide to pay 2 naira out of the 2 naira 50 kobo as dividend. You bought it 10 naira, they are paying 2 naira. It means that the dividend yield is simply calculated by taking away the 2 naira from the 10 naira, whatever you get divided by the 2 naira, I mean, you divide it by the 2 naira times 100, you get the dividend yield. So what percentage returns on the capital invested annually based on the dividend paid you are getting? So it gives you an idea. But like I said, stock prices increase, but the price you bought is stagnant. So if the dividend per share continues to increase, that means your yield is increasing. So over a long period, you will find that you could have started at 10% or 15% dividend yield, but over a long period, you end up having 50% dividend yield, depending on how well the company does and grows dividend, as well as how much you bought the stock. I think that should take care of our knowledge session. Thank you very much, Smith. Okay, next on the line is Westside Real. I'm looking at comments. Bua Cement, Aradel, First Holdco, VFD is still within range to buy and hold for long term. When these stocks start flying, investors will start chasing. Yeah, kiddies, we're in Lagos. A lot of times we are distracted and our eyes are always on the running stocks. But that's not how to win in the market. You look for the ones that have not moved. By the way, Bua is actually rising. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
I'm Charles by name. I'm calling from Dubai.
Charles from Dubai. We're glad to have you. Go ahead.
Okay, actually, my questions were supposed to go to Atlas. But
Okay.
Yeah, firstly, I made a payment that was since on Monday, but she talked about it.
Okay.
She talked about it. Then let me see if they can, because I've sent a message through the WhatsApp line. So let me see if they can rectify it, maybe today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Then the second one is that I wanted to ask her or the person there about my stock in Bamboo, which I've made an application, so they can move it from Bamboo app to Atlas portfolio. But it's been a long time, but I've not heard anything from them. That is the problem.
Okay. Do well to follow up this also on that WhatsApp number she dropped, so that you can get feedbacks. She had told us earlier that it's easier for a transfer from Bamboo to Atlas, but perhaps you want to follow up and see what it turns out to be from there. Thank you very much.
My question is about my cousin. Their both parents are late, and I tried checking their own stock. I found out they have some other stock, and they have a stock with Atlas. So how can they go about it, or how will they go about it, please?
First things first, a letter of administration is required, so they need a lawyer to prepare that, and then they proceed to open their own account. Then they can approach Atlas for the other details of how to recover those assets.
Okay, I appreciate it. I just also want to use this time to thank you for all you're doing, okay?
Thank you very much. I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
He's a good friend. He cares for his friends. Ladies and gentlemen, First Bank, 31 naira, 20 kobo, and still jumping. Guess what? Another stock is pulling the strings, and so many of us may not have expected this, but ladies and gentlemen, Okomo Oil, 930 naira per share. It's really heating up. And I keep remembering somebody every time I see Okomo Oil make moves like this. I'm talking about none other than Louisa Oge. If you are listening to me, congratulations, because the sympathy game is playing out perfectly in your favor. Suddenly, Okomo has come so close to Presco. And do you know what? This tells me Presco now is looking cheap even at 1,200, because the gap has been narrowed further by Okomo. The question now is, will there be a 100,000 block transaction to see Okomo close at 930 naira, or it will revert back to Monday's closing price of, let's see how much it closed on Monday. Okomo closed on Monday at 890 naira, but now it's trading at 930 naira. 1.5 billion naira has been staked in Okomo Oil. Interesting days ahead, isn't it? While we are yet at that, Bua Cement, 101 naira. Well, Bua is not waiting for nobody, because as we speak, there are about 57,000 bids or at 100 naira per share, and 1.2 million bids versus 733,000 offers. So the offers are far less than the bids. Let's go on to the calls one more time. Ramon Nasiru, you are the next on the line. Dr. Epitom says, please, which Nigerian stock can I buy for long-term investment? Go for Aradel. All eyes are not on it yet, before it is late. Hello. Hello. Unfortunately, we'll have to let you go so we can take up others who are standing by. Gabi, you are next. The honest truth is, as an investor, you can't be in every share mentioned. Know your strategy and stick to it. Thank you very much. Hey, it's Kaka. You are saying the truth, and hopefully we get there. Louisa Oge, I acknowledge that. Ha ha ha, First World Co. You remember the call we had the other day, and we were talking about all the fundamentals and what they can do? Well, just wait and see. You think First Bank will sit down and be watching others? Well, time shall tell. While we are trying to connect with Gabi, someone is asking here on Instagram. Shegun says, please, what stocks can I buy with 20 million naira for 6 months? Well, 6 months from now, we are talking about the end of the year. Now, let me tell you something about the end of the year. Stock prices collapse between November and December. You need to be careful with your timing. That's why I keep advising us. We just can't tell what to expect from this market per time. If it's money you need so urgently, then you have to stay vigilant. And you've got to take responsibility for whatever you are investing in. You are the CEO of your portfolio. And now let me repeat. The views expressed in this live stream are entirely mine. They are my opinion and not an investment advice. Please do your due diligence always and make up your mind on what you are investing in. I repeat, 6 months from now will be December. November and December, for me, based on what I have experienced in the market, is planting season. I don't know if the market decides it's no longer planting season and stocks will rise by that time, but that's not when to sell stocks. So will you be able to wait to make it 7 or 8 months? Because in January, February, that's when to sell. Now, Mr. Market has a mind of his own. Should December arrive and it's no longer planting season, Mr. Market changes his mind and says, no, stock prices are jumping by then you are okay to sell whatever you are buying. Should it not be the case, then you've got to stay patient for 1 or 2 months so you can sell at better prices in January and February. If that is the case, go ahead, buy First Bank, buy Fidelity Bank, buy UACN, buy TIP. I'll stop there. Good day, coach. Do you think there is more potential for ICO? Now, that's very difficult to tell because ICO has a voluminous shares outstanding, far more than any other insurance company in their sector. So you can see it is struggling now to create a support at 2 naira 30 kobo, having risen from 160, 170. Okay? So let's see how it goes. I do not know, I cannot tell if the sellers of ICO who have it in great quantums, in billions, will not come out when they see the stock price at 2 naira 70 kobo. I do not know. But currently, it's trying to maintain a support at 230, and it will take some time. The longer it takes, the more difficult it gets because fear is in the heart of those who are seeing it at this price for the first time in a long while, if not for the first time, forever. That's coming from Night Light. Just Abi Solami is asking, I have a small amount to invest. Is ICO a good option, or can you suggest other promising stocks? No matter how small it is, the thought of investing in it is good enough to plant it in something that will grow it. So go for TIP. Go for TIP. 10 naira and under is a fair price. The highest bid currently is at 9 naira 96 kobo. Just 871,000 bids versus 3 million offers. So the offers are more. There is no threat to buying it at 10 and under. So I bought Name It at 3 naira 14 kobo. It rose to 9 naira, but now it's going down. Should I sell or still leave it? Cleans. You should sell your Name It. I've said it here before. Name It does not have a fantastic fundamental yet to support that price it rose to, and it will just simply begin to find its level and keep going down. Now, suddenly, what happens is a stock which gave you joy every day you woke up can just begin to give you sadness. Take your profit, wait for it to dip, and if you are so much in love with such a stock, then you go back in when it bottoms out. That's the way to do it. I sent out updates, information, and kept saying in the live session, sell your fundamentally weak stocks now that they have jumped. Without the necessary backing in terms of their financials, they will collapse. In any case, the stock has gone very high, and you could actually be only witnessing a situation where profit taking is going on. Those who bought about the same price when you bought and are looking for profit and nothing else will be selling off, and perhaps that's why it's reversing from the 9. But to drop from 9 to around 7 that it has gotten to, that's a good sign that it could just keep dropping. Otherwise, it has to now start finding a way to establish a good support at 7. Once you see support being established, then there could be a chance that it could go further than the 7 it is. If you are not following me, you are losing money. Several times, BUA has given chance to people, I'm talking about BUA Cement now, has given chance to people to take position. But every time BUA Cement pulls back under 100 naira, they are afraid, they forget. When it jumps above 100, they come and ask, ladies and gentlemen, UBA has power to 50 naira per share. What does that tell you? A lot is going on. Wow. This is unbelievable. Somebody was asking between Zenith and UBA what to buy, and I said, go ahead and buy UBA. I'm looking at buying UBA, things can happen. Look at UBA, 50 naira, 50 kobo, 5.9 billion naira spent on UBA. Something is brewing in the banking stocks, and we are all making money this year. Remember when I told you in January that we will make money this year? Are we making money or not? Wow. This is simply amazing. Congratulations, everybody. It's the banking sector for me right now. It's been rocking left, right, and center. I know that UBA is going to do an offer, whether it's rights issue or something like that, to complete their own recapitalization exercise. But guess what? It just became more expensive than it would have been without this most recent bank rally. So everybody hold on to your banking stocks. The market is on fire, and that's due to the banking sector. But know what bank you are buying, because some of them are not as good as the others. UBA jumping to 50 means First Bank will have to wake up. And guess what? First Bank currently 31 naira 25 kobo. We just keep making money this year. Now, Maobi is making a submission here, says, my average cost in UBA is 17 naira, coach. You have been a blessing, and I will keep doing more. Congratulations, Maobi. So just imagine that Maobi, having bought his UBA at 17, then sold it at 25 because he felt, wow, I've made money. Or he goes ahead to sell it at 34 because that's 100%. It's at 34 naira. Only to wake up this morning and see it at 50 naira. What do you think? That's what we are saying. Target your long-term stocks, keep them there. And don't miss out of an opportunity of a lifetime. Right? I have been holding UBA at 7 naira from when I bought. 7 naira per share. Today is 50 naira per share. Guess what? You too can continue to make money. Relax and be a part of this community. If you are not following me, you are losing money. Please, sir, what can we buy today? Gift. You look like you are just coming in and you have missed out of the party. Well, I've mentioned tip, I've mentioned Fidelity, and quietly, Fidelity is going out of the radar before our very eyes, and little by little, this Fidelity that refused to go above 19 is currently at what? 21 naira 20 kobo. Well, little by little, it's inching away. That's one stock that continues to ride under the radar, while it's actually a very good stock because it pays dividend twice, tries to do things right, and everything is looking good in their financials. Do not miss out on the opportunities that are flying around right now. I woke up this morning, saw UACN at 48, and I was shocked. This was a UACN that has been lazying around, refusing to go above 40. Well, it's down to 46, but that's still fair enough compared to the 44 it closed on Monday. Okomo Oil, 929 naira, refusing to budge, giving Presco a very good fight. All right, go back onto the lines and let's see who has been waiting. Okay, TC has been waiting. All right, Success Mindset says, I got UB at 24 naira and still buy to date. You see that? A lot have made money. If you are not following me, you are losing money. Dr. Epitome says, I bought Zenith at 50 and it's at 76 today. Interesting stuff. Is that not about 50% or thereabouts? 50% neat. And if you bought at 50, it's not been up to a month or maximum 3 months. Yes? That's what this community is all about. What is your take on LLX? Other than Presco and Okomo, which other stock can compare with it? Compare with it in what aspect? The financials are nothing to write home about. Listing LLX in the same breath with Presco and Okomo is actually an embarrassment to the other two juggernauts, if you like. LLX needs to generate sufficient revenue, create enough value, and bring profits to the table. They've not done that yet. But the prospects are there. The onus is on the management to prove themselves. Because a lot of the public are looking at what they do, and then suddenly we hear they want to raise 215 billion naira capital to expand the business. So all they need to do is prove to the investing public that they can be trusted, and then let's see how that goes. In any case, that will mean a serious dilution of already existing shares and so many other intricacies and uncertainties along the line. Right? Please, coach, can you explain what to consider before holding, buying, or selling of shares? Number one, OJ, if you have long-term stocks, leave them alone. I said it several times that if you're building your portfolio, do it maybe 70%, and you need to just know what you want. Everybody, as our faces are different, so are our needs, all right? No two portfolios must be the same, but find a way for growth long-term dividend stocks to outweigh short-term trading stocks or value stocks, so that you strike a balance when the market tries to retrace or whatever recovery. The market does not always move on a straight line. Everybody needs to know this. So you need to defend your portfolio well enough. And that means every time your short-term trade stocks are making very appreciable gains and you know that the fundamentals are not too wonderful to sustain that growth, take some profits, move it into these other stocks, or look for another trading stocks with prospects that have not moved and take position in there. That's the way to go. Buying or selling short-term stocks depends on how much profit you have realized and what opportunities there is to get into. Okay? Too many dynamics to consider before making a sell or buy move. But most importantly, you are investing for the long term and you must protect yourself. Just sold my name it. Which of the stocks should I put in the money? Well, you may want to consider a stock like First Bank if it's at 30 and I still think at 10 and below, a good stock still, a good value is in TIP as well. Now that we're approaching Judgment Day, talking about results being released, we need to be very, very cautious of what we buy. All right? We have just 3 minutes to go. Let's see 3 callers that we can take on before today's live session comes to an end. I hope you are aligning properly. Let's go on to hear from Financial Markets. I can't see the other name. Hello, could you please unmute your mic while we're trying to connect? Okay. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you're streaming from?
Good afternoon, Coach. My name is Mary Jane, founder of Financial Markets Queen. I'm calling from Lagos.
Financial Markets Queen.
I have this question. I was trying to figure it out because I didn't even know I already dialed in. But anyway, since I'm already here, let me just ask the question. So I hear you mentioning that if we make profits in a particular stock, that we should take partial profits off of it and probably reinvest or buy another stock. So I was not thinking, how am I going to be able to sell some of my shares? Take for instance, Okumu. I bought Okumu for when it was 500 per share, and now Okumu is like 900 to 1,000 per share. So I'm not saying, how am I going to sell half of it or take some of the profits? Because my portfolio has risen to 55%. So am I going to take part of the profits to either buy another stock? So I was trying to figure it out on Bamboo because I trade with Bamboo. So
Okay, Financial Market Queen, there are some stocks that you shouldn't sell. That's what I've been harping on all along. There are growth stocks that if you sell, months and years after, you will regret. And I'm helping people to learn from my own mistakes. For instance, one mistake I made so many years ago was buying Seplat oil at 350 naira and then selling at 750. In my head, the stock wasn't moving any further. I think it was time to quit. At that time, Seplat, you see the dividend they declare in US dollars. They were actually paying it in US dollars. There was no conversion to naira like they do now to pay. You know, because of CBN regulations, they decided that they will convert to naira and then pay those dividends. They used to pay in dollars. I sold at 750 naira. Today, Seplat is 5,000 plus. I can't go back to such a stock. They continue to remain consistent in paying whatever they are paying. My dividend yield as taught today during the dividend yield session of our knowledge session would have been something else. I do not want anyone following me and listening to me making such errors. That's why I've been saying your long-term growth stocks should remain permanent features in your portfolio. They will be the stocks that eventually defends you on a day when the market recedes or there is any form of market sell-off. Those other tinier stocks that do not really have sufficient financials backing them, especially a track record of strong performances, those are the stocks that I recommend that when you see reasonable, appreciable profit, you can sell, divest into something else. That's by the way. But you were asking as though you wanted to know how to sell a part of or all of it on your platform, Bamboo. Is that correct?
Part of it.
Part of it. You go onto the sell. I do not use Bamboo, but the procedures are in the process of initiating a sale. There will be a place where you indicate the number of shares you want to sell, apart from deciding also on what price you want to buy or what price you want to sell. If you have, for instance, 1,000 Okomu oil and you want to sell 500, half, or you want to sell 200, you just indicate the quantity, and then it will sell that part and leave the rest in your account. But, once again, I say, Okomu is not a stock to sell now, just as Presco is not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Financial Markets Queen.
Next question I wanted to ask is, can you help with how to diversify accounts for diversification? So let me explain it. The goal is diversification. So how are we going to, okay, let's say I have a certain account for this certain thing, I have a certain account for this certain thing. For instance, I have a particular account for emergency fund, I have another for savings, I have another for investments, then I have another for retirement. So now which brings me to that last part, the retirement aspect, because I've been doing my
Are these all cash accounts?
research on because I'm a trader and I'm also an investor. So I'm not saying, is it really necessary for me to also have a portfolio for retirement? So which is basically the same as pension fund. So I wanted you to shed light on that if it's necessary, and if it's necessary, like why is it necessary?
When you say portfolio, are you saying retirement stock portfolio or cash account?
I think is Stanbic IBTC has something like that. It's called pension fund.
Oh, listen. In the end, your pension will not be able to sustain your standard of living. I can tell you that for free. That's why you are investing in stocks. If you have that mandatory pension fund account, it's called RSA, Retirement Savings Account, which pension fund administrators manage for you. That's statutory, no problem. But do not rely on such. It will fail you woefully. That's why we invest. So your ultimate retirement plan is your investment portfolio in stocks, in bonds, in real estate, and whatever. Okay? And that's where you should focus your energy on and do as much as you can while you are able to.
Yeah, that's literally what I concluded my stake on. But I just wanted to just get a different perspective.
That's what to do. That's exactly, that's just it.
Because like I said, I'm a financial trader and also an investor. So having a pension account, I might as well be managing my own pension by myself instead of giving it to somebody else to do that.
You are the best CEO of your portfolio anytime, any day.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this is where we come to the end of today's live stream. That's because it's already 4 minutes past 2 p.m. and I also have to go back to the market to see what I can fetch out of the opportunities available. I hope that it's been a value-added session for you today. Never mind, I apologize to anyone whose comments I've not been able to take or calls that I've not been able to entertain. In any case, 2 hours is not enough to attend to all of these, and that's why we have Net Worth Investors Club on Discord app. As you are watching this live stream, or if you go onto the YouTube channel to watch afterwards, please do not forget to share all that we do here. And if you want to join our Net Worth Investors Club on Discord app, follow me on Instagram at Wealth Coach Omiete. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Instagram at Wealth Coach Omiete. Then send me a DM. I'll forward the link to you to join, because for the cyber security and safety of members of that club, the link expires after a short time that is shared. So the link comes directly from us, and it can never be penetrated easily by scammers. Now, you want to open your brokerage account for the first time, send me a DM also on Instagram. And of course, if you missed any part of this live session because of work, or you are in the US and Canada where the time difference is much, feel free to go back to the live video on my YouTube channel. The user handle also is at Wealth Coach Omiete. All of what we are discussing here, you can take your time, either download the video or listen up whenever you are free and take notes so you can take action tomorrow. Until we meet again tomorrow, same time, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Nigerian time. This is me saying thank you very much for being a huge part of today's success, and hopefully we meet tomorrow and see our portfolios continually turning green again. Until we meet again, thank you very much, and this is where we call it a day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and see you again some other time. Tomorrow, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Until